Hi, Tristan from Fully Charged Silverstone here. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about a bike which I've put my investment into, put my trust into. You're going to want to watch it until the end because I'm going to be really honest about it. And we're going to be talking about the Riese and Müller Delite. We've got some really exciting news coming up on e-bike technology. We're going abroad. I'm going to be involved. What could be better than that? And as ever, to receive the best in e-bike news and technology, please like and subscribe. It means the world to us. Thanks very much. Now let's go. Out of all the Riese and Müller bundles that we sell, why did I choose this one? Let's talk about that now. You've got a complete package. You have ground control technology, suspension front and back. You've got belt drive. You've got a choice of tyres. You've got the best Bosch motor. You've got the best Bosch batteries. If you want 2 batteries, the Super Delite's available and you can have 2. The key question that I ask my customers when they come into Fully Charged Silverstone always is, what job does your bike have to do? Because customers come to us and they've usually researched the brand of bike they want, the motor they want, etc. But when they actually see the bikes in the flesh, it's sometimes a different story. Now my bike, in my head, I'm always mountain biking in the sun, 3 days out, tent on the back. In reality, I don't do that. The cycling we do in our heads is very often different to the cycling we do in real life. And my cycling experience is usually 20 kilometres to work, 20 kilometres home. For that reason, I decided to be really pragmatic and choose the Riese and Müller Delite because it does that supremely well. Work to me is a 20 kilometre commute between towns. It's important to know that. It's not always in a town. It's on less than great roads where I need a bit more ground control and I need to be assured. That's why I've got GX tyres. That's why I trust the full suspension. And that's why I want the best motor available, because some of the hills I have to climb are actually quite severe. What didn't I buy? I didn't buy the best cockpit on the market. I bought a Kiox. For me, it does everything I need it to do. I didn't go dual battery with the Super Delite. If I need extra range, and I sometimes do, I carry a battery in and keep it in a pannier. So we're at the gates of Silverstone race circuit, Formula One, iconic landmark in motor racing in the UK. But can a bike replace a car? Well, actually, yes, it can. For an everyday commuter, absolutely. For someone who wants to cut down the carbon footprint, absolutely. Is it worth the investment? I believe absolutely. Will I do it again? Completely. Am I going to replace this bike? Not a chance. So Riese and Müller say this is one of the most complete and technologically advanced bikes on the market. Do we think so? Yes, we do. Now let's go and have a look at the detail. What I thought I'd do is just show you very quickly the technical features of a Riese and Müller Delite front to back, and to do that, we've got a clean one for you. Now, Riese and Müller make it possible for you to configure a bike any way you want to, but going back to what we were saying earlier, you really have to think about what the job the bike has to do. On this one, for example, we have a GX kit fitted, which means you have essentially knobbly tyres, gives you a bit more grip in wetter conditions, and larger pedals to give you a bit more traction underfoot. Suspension-wise, they come with spring suspension, or you can upgrade to a performance package, or you can have the Fox Float air suspension as an option also. Staying at the front, we have the M99 headlights, which you can dip and have a full beam on. Brilliant feature for nighttime riding, particularly where we ride between towns, not necessarily in towns. So cockpit-wise, the Intuva is what Riese and Müller supply as standard. You can upgrade to a Kiox, which you've seen on my bike, or the Nyon, which is the top of the range Bosch cockpit available today. I don't need all of the fields that Bosch make available on the Nyon. I don't really care what my power output is on an e-bike. However, if you want that sort of thing, the Nyon is perfect for you. You can configure the screens to show any field you want within the menu of Bosch options. And if you want to be techie and use all that data for Strava, entirely up to you. Still on the handlebar, we have the remote control, which you can shift your power assistance levels with. And on the right-hand side of the handlebar, we have the gear shifting, which on this bike is the roll-off E14. As regards gearing, Riese and Müller offer you 3 options on this bike. There is the touring version, which is a traditional derailleur and chain setup. Or you can have the variable MVolo setup, which gives you a twist grip on the handlebar. So rather than having steps in your gear shifting, you have a system which you can feather to your own cadence. Lastly, there's a top-of-the-line roll-off, which the bike industry considers to be the pinnacle of technology at the moment. Personally, I've got it on my bike. I like it a lot. It gives me a huge amount of range. If I'm really honest with you, I've only ever found the hill once I can use the bottom 4 gears on. So recently we've had a customer come into the shop who actually found himself on a wild camping expedition where he couldn't physically push his bike up the hill even with walk assist. So he went down to the bottom again, put it into first with his roll-off and just crept up the hill, and it got him to the top riding it. Last thing on the handlebar is the dropper post control. Everybody loves this, but you push the lever with your thumb and the seat rises. When you're flying down a hill as a mountain biker at top speed, the last thing you need is a seat smacking up into your undercarriage. So the dropper post was designed to get it out of the way. Now when you're riding a road bike with a dropper post on it, you have a different sort of assistance. You can drop the seat as it's in this position now, so your feet are flat on the ground and you have absolute maximum stability when you come to a stop. When you get going again, stand on the pedals, push the button, and it comes up to meet your bum. Brakes, we have Magura MT brakes, massive discs front and back, excellent stopping power. You're not going to get in trouble with those. So this particular bike has a 625 watt-hour battery fully integrated into the down tube here. Easy to remove if you want to put it on the back of the car so the battery can go inside and be safe. It's paired with the Bosch Performance CX motor, which is a 250 watt motor giving you 85 Newton meters of torque, which is the maximum available on the market on this range of bikes today. What you'll have noticed so far is that we're talking Bosch system. We have a Bosch cockpit, Bosch controller, Bosch motor, Bosch battery. It's all Bosch. Bosch is rated by the e-bike industry at the moment to be the absolute best there is. When the bike needs to be maintained or serviced, having one branded supplier for all the major components makes life so much easier for you and for us, and it turns the bike around much more quickly. So moving further slightly back on the bike, we have the rear suspension. Now we talked about front suspension, and lots of brands will talk about front and rear suspension. Riese and Müller talk about ground control technology, and it's a difficult one to describe without riding the bike, because what most people do is just bounce on the rear and show you the top moving up and down. What happens in actual fact is when you're riding the bike, you as the rider stay in the same place and everything else happens underneath you. You stay in contact with the road much more effectively, and in tricky situations where you need to be able to brake and turn and adjust, the ground control technology allows you to do it confidently. Now if you're going for the Vario or the roll-off E14, both bikes come fitted with the Gates carbon belt drive. The belt drive makes the bike such an easy thing to live with. No oil, no dirt, no grease. If you're loading it into the back of the car, no mess. People get a little bit scared of it perhaps because should you get a puncture on the back end, it seems to make taking the wheel out a bit more difficult. It really isn't. Once you've done it, it's a piece of cake. When we're buying stock for Fully Charged, we always buy a belt drive version. I don't think we have any touring bikes in stock with a chain. This is simply because this is what customers come to Riese and Müller for. Almost finally, we have the rack. There are 2 rack options. This is the carrier rack. There's a pannier rack, which is less substantial, carries less weight. This rack, as you can see, is pretty sturdy and you can hang anything off it, really. I use Ortley panniers and carry lots of stuff around. Going home from work, picking up shopping on the way, they're very, very commodious, and the bike takes it without any effect on the handling at all. And finally, one last thing, and probably the thing I like most about it, is you have an active brake light. When you're in traffic, drivers don't expect this from a cyclist. It's a really useful thing to have, especially when the light is a bit dull. So as you can see, this bike is the pinnacle of technology in the electric bike market today. It does everything you want it to do. Riding on the road, off-road, touring, mountain climbing, wild camping, this bike can handle everything you throw at it. Riese and Müller tell us they expect customers of the Delite model to accept no compromise, and I think they're right. There are lots of bikes on the market. Riese and Müller claim this to be the most complete package, and I think I agree. Can you buy cheaper? Of course you can. We characterise Riese and Müller as being the Bentley of the electric bike world today. We believe they represent great value for money, but they aren't the cheapest on the market. There are ways of making the bike more affordable. There are cycle to work schemes, very tax efficient. You can put them on 0% finance through Fully Charged. Makes it very affordable. So if you're considering buying an electric bike to feature as a major part of your lifestyle, where you can maybe reduce the use of your car, maybe not have a car at all, then Riese and Müller has to feature on that list towards the very top. So thanks for watching. We've been talking about Riese and Müller a lot today, and the Riese and Müller Delite, which is my bike and become part of my lifestyle. But Fully Charged sells other bikes too. We said we had some exciting news for you, and we do! Richard and I are going off to France to visit Moustache Bike Factory to look at the Lundy. I've been talking about Riese and Müller a lot today, but we love Moustache as well, obviously. Keep tuned, like and subscribe, and you'll see that video sometime over the next couple of weeks.